Allopathic medicine is heavily dependent on investigations and parameters. After going through a lot of juggleries of deep scientific research, epidemiological studies, arguments and counter-arguments, there seems to be a semblance of a unification on what could be considered ideal parameters of heart health, the cardiovascular health. World over, the commonest disease that affects the heart is atherosclerosis. In atherosclerosis, bad cholesterol or the LDL particles get deposited in the medium-sized arteries of the heart, brain, kidneys, to name a few. Like rust building up inside metallic pipes, this buildup of atherosclerosis is a slow process, going on for a number of years. Finally, these arteries get clogged badly enough to cause ischemia, that is deprivation or inadequacy of blood delivery to that respective organ. The commonest being the coronary arteries of the heart. The process of atherosclerosis can be prevented, halted, and in some extent reversed by meticulously managing parameters or targets. Let's learn and aim at achieving these parameters year after year in order to achieve top-notch heart health. As of today in early 2025, the ideal heart health parameters for adults above the age of 30 years are based on weight, blood pressure, heart rate or pulse rate, blood sugars, LDL or the bad cholesterol, serum creatinine and protein in the urine, which represent function of the kidneys, and vitamin B12 and vitamin D3 levels. In addition to these, to achieve a zero tobacco and almost a no alcohol state in our lives definitely appears to be in the list. A decent diet, exercise, stress management routine, and sticking to prescribed medication for more than 90% of the times also make a beeline as parameters. Apart from these parameters, CRP high sensitivity, thyroid, uric acid, liver function, they all deserve a mention, albeit a weak one. They could also be optional parameters. Now let's examine the parameters one by one. Ideal weight should be roughly height in inches equal to kilogram. For example, a 65-inch tall man, the weight should be 65 kilograms and a woman would be about 5 kilograms less for the same height. Based on the body frame, 5 to 10% leeway on either side can be considered. In terms of BMI, the body mass index, weight in kilogram divided by square of height in meters, that is kilogram divided by meter square, one would aim at less than 23. If one is overweight or obese, losing 10 to 15% of the weight can bring in remarkable medical benefits. Trying to reach the ideal weight is a utopic dream. All adult men and women at all ages should have systolic blood pressure below 130 millimeters of mercury, with or without medication. All our organs are designed to last till the age of 120 years for a systolic blood pressure of 120 millimeters of mercury. Anything above 140 systolic persistently definitely needs treatment. But an elevated blood pressure, say between 130 and 140 millimeters of mercury, should not be taken lightly. Diastolic blood pressure is of lesser importance, but 80 is the ideal. Except for a few medical conditions, heart rate and pulse rate are identical. Smartwatch keeps a good control or monitoring of the heart rate. Electronic BP apparatus indicates heart rate, and the pulse oximeter, which was actually ill-famous in corona period, also gives heart rate. The resting pulse rate, that is in a quiet body state and mind, 70 to 80 per minute is ideal. Blood sugars measured by continuous glucose monitoring device, the CGM, is for the ideal world. The 3-month average HbA1c is a practical parameter to follow. All non-diabetic individuals should be well below 6, and a good control of diabetes would mean a value between 6 and 6.5. Lipid profile is a famous blood test of the fats in the blood. Nowadays, it can be performed even on non-fasting state. The earlier stipulation of 14 hours fasting blood sample is no longer necessary. Non-fasting blood represents LDL cholesterol accurately, and that is the bone of contention for heart health. Normal adults should have a LDL value of less than 100 milligrams per cent. Individuals who have already suffered a heart attack or paralysis should have a LDL value of 55 or below, or it may be as low as 30 based on their risk. HDL, the high-density lipoprotein, is no longer considered the so-called good cholesterol. Triglycerides may have some value, but not as emphatic as the LDL. Proteins in urine, serum creatinine, vitamin B12 and D3 are supporting parameters, again not as emphatic as others, but they need to be in order. Common sense diet pattern, food for body rather than desire, along with moderate exercise, needs to be an ongoing background activity. For external cleanliness, we commence taking a bath in childhood and follow it up through the life without any much motivation. Internal important matters like heart health deserve a steady diet exercise routine which would be compared to a bath for more than 80% of the times. Good social connects, adequate good quality sleep, hobbies also help heart health. These are ideal parameters for healthy individuals. Most can achieve them by diet, exercise, adequate rest, and periodic checks. However, those with known atherosclerosis, the parameters differ only in the LDL levels. Medication will be in the fore for such individuals. In order to rule out abnormalities like diabetes and high cholesterol being present from birth, first physical check for blood pressure in all four limbs, blood sugar and cholesterol needs to be at the age of 10. If all of these are normal, the next check can be at the age of 30 and then 40 and then every 3 years. One of the factors responsible for atherosclerosis is chronic mental stress. Unfortunately, it's not tangible. There is no investigation to measure stress. In modern-day existence, chronic stress should be assumed to be existing. Yoga, meditation, hobbies, social connects, emotional core group must be introduced in our lives to cope up with this abstract risk factor called stress. Now that we know what parameters constitute a good heart health, how to achieve them needs to be studied. It takes a lot of common sense, basic discipline, and an open attitude with an eye for preventing atherosclerosis. Discussing about these parameters in friends, family groups, social media will help percolating this knowledge in majority strata of the society, especially in the young. Make your personal list of ideal parameters and stick it up on your pin-up wall electronically or actually, and keep deriving motivation from it. This menace of a disease, the giant killer, can be kept at bay remarkably well by achieving these targets year after year.